Attraction is rarely loud. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't raise its hand and say, I like you. Especially not in women. What most men fail to understand is this. Women are conditioned from a very young age to hide desire, soften it, mask it, dilute it. So when a woman is attracted to you, she doesn't usually say it. She shows it, quietly, unconsciously, often without even realizing she's doing it herself. And the face is the first place where the truth leaks out. If you've ever felt confused around a woman, felt something was there but couldn't prove it, this is why. You were listening to words instead of watching expressions. Words lie, faces don't. The face reacts faster than logic, faster than fear, faster than social conditioning. And once you understand how to read these signals, you stop guessing, you stop chasing clarity, you stop over-investing, you start observing. The problem is most men are either too anxious, too eager, or too insecure to notice. They're busy performing, impressing, talking. Attraction doesn't grow in noise. It reveals itself in silence, in micro moments, in brief shifts of expression that last less than a second but say everything. Let's start with the first expression. And this one separates men who are tolerated from men who are desired. When a woman is secretly attracted to you, her face softens when she looks at you, not consciously, not dramatically. Her eyebrows relax, her jaw loosens, her lips part ever so slightly. This softness is not politeness, it's not friendliness. It's a biological response. Her nervous system is signaling safety mixed with interest. Around men she feels nothing for. Her face stays neutral or alert. Around men she's attracted to, her face melts. The sharp edges disappear. You'll notice this especially when she thinks you're not watching, when she's listening to you speak and forgets herself, when she's momentarily lost in what you're saying. That softness vanishes the moment she remembers to guard herself again. If you see it repeatedly, you're not imagining things. The second expression is one most men completely misinterpret or miss entirely. She raises her eyebrows briefly when she sees you, just for a split second. This isn't surprise, this isn't shock, this is recognition mixed with interest. It's an unconscious oh. Her face reacts before her mind catches up. If she does this consistently when you enter a room, when you approach her, when you suddenly speak, pay attention. This micro-expression is a form of invitation. It says, you have my attention. Women don't give that away easily. Men often assume attraction must look dramatic. It doesn't. It looks subtle, and subtle signals repeat. That's how you know they're real. The third expression is where desire and restraint collide. She smiles, but not fully. One corner of her mouth lifts first. It's not a polite smile, it's not symmetrical, it's restrained. This is attraction filtered through self-control. She's enjoying you, but she's holding back. This kind of smile appears when she's teasing you, when she's responding to something slightly personal, when there's a moment of tension in the conversation. This smile is dangerous in the best way because it reveals interest while pretending not to. If you mistake it for friendliness and retreat, attraction fades. If you mistake it for guaranteed desire and push too hard, attraction collapses. This is where emotional intelligence matters. You're supposed to notice, not pounce. The fourth expression exposes inner conflict. She breaks eye contact suddenly and then comes back. This isn't shyness alone. This is desire triggering self-awareness. Prolonged eye contact creates intimacy. When she feels it building, she looks away to regulate herself. But attraction pulls her back, so she looks again. That back and forth is her internal dialogue written on her face. Men who don't understand this think she's uninterested because she looked away. Men who do understand remain calm, grounded, present. They don't chase the gaze. They let it return, and it always does. The fifth expression is one of the most revealing and one of the most ignored. She presses her lips together briefly after you say something that lands, something confident, something grounded, something that subtly challenges her. That lip press is containment. It's her stopping herself from reacting too openly. Her face is literally holding emotion in. This often appears right before she changes the subject, laughs lightly, or makes a casual remark to diffuse the tension. That tension is attraction, not comfort, not boredom. Attraction creates energy, and energy needs regulation. Her face tells you before her words ever will. The sixth expression is the one that confirms everything. Her pupils dilate when she looks at you. This isn't romantic fantasy, it's biology. Pupil dilation happens when someone is stimulated emotionally, mentally, or physically. You can't fake it, you can't control it. It happens especially in low-pressure moments, when you're sitting close, when the conversation slows, when there's a pause and she's just looking at you. Most men never notice because they're too busy talking, or trying to impress, or worrying about what to say next. Attraction reveals itself when you stop performing and start being. Now here's the part that matters more than all 6 expressions combined. These signals don't appear for men who seek validation. They appear for men who are internally settled, calm, present, men who don't need to convince, men who are okay whether she's attracted or not. The face reacts to energy before words. Confidence isn't loud, it's regulated. If you're constantly trying to read signs because you're afraid of rejection, you'll miss them. If you're watching calmly without attachment, they show themselves naturally. Another critical mistake men make is assuming attraction must escalate quickly. Women often experience attraction privately first, internally. They test it before expressing it. The face is where that testing happens. That's why these expressions repeat over time. Attraction isn't a switch, it's a build-up. And understand this, when a woman is attracted to you but senses emotional volatility, neediness, or impatience, her face will still reveal interest, but it will be followed by suppression, tension, guarding, distance. That's why some men experience mixed signals. The attraction is real, the safety isn't. Your job is not to decode every expression obsessively. Your job is to become the kind of man around whom attraction doesn't feel risky, around whom desire doesn't need armor. Silence helps, slowing down helps, holding eye contact without demand helps, not rushing to label the interaction helps. Attraction grows in space. And one more uncomfortable truth. If you don't see these expressions at all, consistently, over time, it's not hidden attraction, it's absence of attraction. And that's not a failure, it's information. Men who mature emotionally stop trying to extract desire from places it doesn't exist. When attraction is present, the face leaks it, always. So stop listening for confessions. Stop waiting for obvious signs. Start watching how her face behaves when she forgets herself, when she relaxes, when she reacts before thinking. That's where the truth lives. And once you learn to see it, you stop forcing connection and start allowing it. And this is where most men sabotage everything without realizing it. The moment they sense attraction, they rush to secure it. They speed up, they lean in too fast, they start explaining themselves more, they seek reassurance through jokes, messages, compliments. But attraction doesn't grow through reassurance, it shrinks under it. The facial expressions we're talking about exist in a fragile space. They appear when a woman feels intrigued but not pressured, curious but not cornered. You have to understand something uncomfortable. Women often enjoy attraction before they enjoy possession. The mystery matters, the uncertainty matters. That's why her face reacts first, quietly, before her behavior changes. The face is safe. Words are risky. Notice how these expressions often happen in pauses, when you stop talking, when there's silence, when nothing is being demanded from her. That's not an accident. Silence removes performance, and when performance drops, the truth surfaces. Another pattern men ignore is timing. These expressions don't show up immediately for men who rush intimacy. They show up gradually for men who create emotional steadiness. If you're constantly escalating, she's constantly managing. Management kills attraction. Regulation sustains it. There's also something else most men misread completely: friendliness versus attraction. A friendly woman uses her face socially. An attracted woman uses her face emotionally. Friendly expressions are consistent, polite, evenly distributed. Attraction expressions are inconsistent, involuntary, and situational. They spike, they fade, they return. That's why one moment she seems distant, and the next moment her face betrays interest again. Men call this confusion. It's not confusion, it's self-control wrestling with desire. And here's a truth that separates emotionally intelligent men from reactive ones. You don't reward these expressions. You don't point them out. You don't comment on them. The moment you do, she becomes self-conscious. The expression disappears. Attraction retreats into safety mode. Instead, you respond with calm presence. You don't change your behavior drastically. You don't act impressed. You stay grounded. That steadiness deepens attraction more than any compliment ever could. Understand this as well. Women are constantly evaluating how a man handles power. Attraction gives you power. How you hold it determines whether it grows or dies. If you become needy, attraction collapses. If you become arrogant, attraction hardens into resistance. If you remain centered, attraction relaxes. That relaxation shows on her face again and again. You'll start noticing patterns. Her expressions appear more frequently, last longer, require less effort to suppress. That's when attraction is transitioning from internal to external. But that transition only happens when she feels emotionally safe and stimulated. Men who chase certainty kill this process. Men who tolerate uncertainty allow it to unfold. Another important detail: these facial expressions often show up strongest when there's contrast, when you disagree calmly, when you set a boundary without anger, when you tease without cruelty. Attraction grows when a woman feels you are solid, not accommodating. Her face responds to strength that doesn't demand validation. And this is where many men misunderstand confidence. Confidence is not dominance. It's not intensity. It's not control. Confidence is emotional self-sufficiency. When you don't need her attraction to feel stable, she becomes curious about you. Curiosity feeds attraction. Her face reflects that curiosity before anything else does. Also understand this: attraction doesn't always mean intention. A woman can be attracted and still not pursue. Social rules, past experiences, fear of vulnerability, all of these can stop behavior, while the face still tells the truth. That's why men who pressure for clarity too early often hear "I'm not ready," even when attraction exists. Attraction isn't a promise, it's a signal. Your role is not to force it into action. Your role is to observe it, respect it, and decide if you want to continue. That's another mistake men make. They assume attraction means they must proceed. High-value men choose as much as they are chosen, and when a woman senses that you are not desperate to be liked, her face reacts again, softer, more open, less guarded, because desire feels safer when it's not being chased. This is why emotional restraint is so powerful. It creates room, and in that room, attraction breathes. Watch how her face changes when you stop trying to impress. When you stop explaining yourself, when you let moments hang, those micro expressions return more naturally, less forced, less filtered. Because at the end of the day, attraction is not created by tactics, it's revealed by presence. And presence is visible on your face, in your posture, in your stillness. That's why faces speak to each other long before words do. As long as you stay grounded, attentive, and unattached to outcome, those expressions will keep showing you the truth, quietly, honestly, without ever needing a confession. And now comes the part most men never want to hear. But it's the part that actually decides everything. All these expressions, all these signals, all this unspoken language means nothing if you don't have the emotional discipline to handle it. Attraction is not a reward, it's not a trophy, it's a test of whether you remain centered when you're desired or whether you collapse into neediness the moment validation appears. Because the truth is this, many women lose attraction not because a man did something wrong, but because he reacted too much to doing something right. The moment a man realizes, she's into me, his energy shifts, he becomes impatient, he wants confirmation, he wants acceleration, he wants outcome, and that shift is visible. Just like her face reveals attraction, your face reveals hunger, and hunger repels. Strong men don't chase expressions. They allow expressions to come and go. They don't stare harder. They don't push closer. They don't change their pace. They understand that attraction deepens when it's not forced to decide immediately. Here's what separates emotionally mature men from boys. Mature men don't try to turn attraction into certainty. They let it breathe. They let it mature. They let it either grow or die naturally, and both outcomes are acceptable to them. If attraction grows, it does so because the woman feels safe enough to stop suppressing it. If it dies because it wasn't strong enough to survive patience. Either way, the man stays intact. That's power. Another hard truth. If you need constant signs, constant reassurance, constant confirmation, you are not ready for real attraction. Real attraction is quiet at first. It asks for tolerance of ambiguity. It demands emotional control. Women are drawn to men who don't interrogate desire, men who don't make attraction feel like a debt that must be paid back with behavior. So if you ever catch these expressions on her face, softness, restraint, tension, warmth, your job is not to act. Your job is to remain calm, remain observant, remain grounded. Let her curiosity grow. Let her nervous system relax. Let her desire become less guarded because you didn't rush to grab it. And if nothing ever progresses, then you walk away with dignity, not resentment, because attraction that requires pressure was never attraction. It was compliance waiting to collapse. Men who win long-term don't rely on tricks. They rely on self-regulation. They don't obsess over signs. They become the kind of presence around which signs naturally appear. So stop chasing clarity. Stop decoding every look with desperation. Watch patterns, not moments. Repetition is truth. Consistency is truth. Calm observation is strength. When you can sit in attraction without trying to own it, you become rare. And rarity is what keeps desire alive.